Today we're going to talk to you about the Colorado Springs housing market. It is a balanced market, and we're going to show you why. We were going to be on a teeter-totter and show you how we were balancing, but Kayleen lied, there's no teeter-totter here. It's probably unsafe now for kids. So this is my balancing. Let's go talk about the Colorado Springs real estate market. So this is going to be a very informative video for you guys. So
it is. It's been a while since we've done almost like a market update, and that was, you know, Lori and I, to be honest, we've been so busy, but we were like, next video when we get together, let's do a market update because I think it's shifted.
Yeah. Did you count how many we have under contract?
We have 11 listings.
And I
know
we
that
have like 10 buyers.
It's like a lot right
It's
now.
one of our busiest first quarters. So we just want to talk about what we're feeling in the market and then present some numbers to you, because there is the Lori and Kayleen market analysis, because we are in the market every day, and then there's the Pikes Peak regional statistical analysis as well. So we're going to present
But it does
both.
back up like what we're seeing, feeling, and what we're experiencing, both on the sell side and the buy side of this market.
Okay.
So we were on a teeter-totter because I feel like we've shifted from like a buyer's market to a more balanced. And I think our numbers kind of support that with Pikes Peak Regional Building. Do you want to share a number, or should we talk about it first?
Well, I'll share the numbers.
Okay.
So, and then we'll get to like the fun part at the end. So stay with us. So we're going to present numbers to you guys. So I looked these up the other day. And if you're wondering why I'm leaning, because if I sit like this, then you can't see me very well. So I have to like lean like I'm like in here. So this is what what we're doing.
I'll hold it for you.
Oh, you will? Okay. So new listings. This is kind of interesting. So new listings. So new houses that have hit the market here in the Pikes Peak region in Colorado Springs Monument, February of 2025. So, well, it's kind of like, so last month, technically we're into April and May, but February 2025 to March of 2025. So that 1 month difference, new listings were up 25%. So that's kind of indicative of just heading into the summer months. 42%.
42%. That's why I was like 25. No. 42%. But I would say I would almost expect that, because when we're prepping our buyers or our sellers on the list side, usually we're like, in the past, February, January, February, and maybe even beginning of March is typically slow. It was not this year, but I think that there's such an influx from February to March because it's typically what happens.
Everyone wants the school year.
Now, 42% is a lot. Like, I would say I would have expected the number to go up like maybe 30%, like what Lori said, but it's up 42%. So sellers, you have more competition out there. Buyers, you have more inventory to choose from. So,
okay. So, but now let's look at the year over year. So May of 2024, March of 2024 to March of 2025, 25% increase. So
that tells me that the market is different than a year ago.
More sellers are putting their homes on the market. So you have a little bit more inventory, which will there's a caveat to that. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but more people are getting ready to enter that market and are like, okay, at this point, there's so much pent up, like people not.
But think about our sellers, because this is what we're, new listings. So why are sellers selling? They're trading up again. There's a couple that are moving out of state, but most of them are kind of staying local. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think we have probably half of our listings that they're moving out of the area. The other half are trading up, which is good, because a lot of those people that bought in 2020, 2022, they were sitting on this interest nest egg. And it was really hard to say, you know what, I think we're just, even though we need more space, even though I don't need as big of a house anymore, we have such a good interest rate, we're just going to wait. Now those people are moving.
Yeah.
So
the interest rates are down a little more. Our perspective of the low interest rate of the 2% is now like, oh my gosh, they were at 7. Now I can, with new builds, we've seen them in the 4s. But most times you buy an existing home, low 6s with some rate buy downs. So this is where we're going to talk about the balanced market. All right, let's talk about sales. February of 2025 to March of 2025. So just a month difference in March of 2025, there were 45% more sales. Like, so that's
so things were moving.
Things in March than they were in February.
And that totally explains why we're so crazy busy. Yeah. Both on the list side and the buy side.
Right. But if I look at the year over year, so March of 2024, so if we were sitting here last year compared to March of 2025, sales have also increased that 12%. So
the amount of volume. The amount of units sold.
Correct.
And so there is more real estate transactions happening.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you look at sales price, this is kind of what I think is interesting, because people are always thinking that, market's, I'm not going to make some good inventory.
This is why you don't necessarily want to rent, but maybe just jump in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, and we can talk about that. We have a couple
There's a couple times it's
like,
not. Maybe they should rent for a year.
So, sales price. If February, so month over month, so February 2025 to March of 2025. So we went from 544 to 562
for average sale price.
So an increase just in March, because there's more people coming here. There's more offers being written. The sellers can offer a little bit higher price point, a 3% increase.
That's a huge jump, though, if you think about it. Like, if you decided to wait from February to March, on average, that was an $18,000 difference. And so I do think, one, time is of the essence. Two, I think it's a little bit of a yo-yo, because that's what interest rates are doing right now. But I will show you, and that these are the numbers to prove it, that the longer you wait, there's money being left on the table.
Year over year, 6.6%. So
that's crazy.
February 2024. So we all thought it was going to be like negative, but we went from 527 to 562. And the graphs will be popping up to kind of show you that I'm just not making this up. So there is some good equity to be gained in our market. A lot of people are wanting to move here.
If you were contemplating renting or buying last year and you decided to rent, that same house that was $527,000 is now $562,000.
Well, the average, but yeah, if you would gain a 6%, yeah. So also supply is what I think is really interesting. So if you're thinking of moving here this summer, make sure you put those numbers into your phone and reach out to us to start that conversation. We have a ton of people we're doing that with right now. We have a good pulse in the market. So this is where we talk about a balanced market. So if I talk about a year ago, so in March, inventory is only 2 months supply. So there's only 2 months of supply for the demand in March of 2024.
Oh, gotcha. You were reading.
Yeah. So in February, there was 3.3 months of inventory. So there was more
to choose
from. So you could have maybe negotiated a little bit more with sellers because you had more options. March of 2025, we're now back down to 2.5% or 2.5 months of inventory.
So I will say, now that you said that, it kind of, I think part of why we had the average sell price increase, because people are still trying to tackle interest rates and making it where they need it to be for their budget. What we are seeing sometimes is people, buyers, offering at listing or sometimes even a little bit more, but then asking for a good amount of concessions because it has to be paid by the seller in order to buy down the rate after a certain percentage. I am by no means a lender. I will not pretend to even be a lender. We will get you in touch with our preferred lender, Dean. He's great at this because it's not a straight number. Like when you see those builders advertise 399 interest, like they're advertising the very lowest. We all know that. That's usually a VA or an FHA loan. Of course, there's different parameters, but if you're only putting down like 3%, 10%, there's a limit as to what that lender can buy the rate down to. And so with that being said, I do think that's probably why we saw, you know, to me, it's kind of a significant amount. Like you waited 1 month and lost $18,000. But I know when we were writing some offers, if we needed to buy down an interest rate, give the seller what they're asking. If they can get it to appraise for it, great. If not, we'll renegotiate then. But then at least it gives you money to be able to go back to your lender and say, how can I bring my payment to where I want it to be?
It's much more advantageous. We've done a lot of like new build negotiations too, as well as existing. So either one of those, we help you negotiate that. But it's always, so let's say you get like, huge chunk for, which we have gotten a lot,
38,000
for, you know, hey, you can use it towards off the house or off the cost of the house. You can use it towards seller concessions, towards rate buy downs. Almost always it's most advantageous to use that to buy down your rate. Otherwise, if you take off like $20,000 off your loan, you're saving like $3 a month.
Well, and you can do a permanent rate buy down, a temporary rate buy down, which I had to learn, and I'm not even getting into it, but the difference between those two. And temporary rate buy down, I'm usually really conservative, but I don't hate it. And I can tell you why when we talk on the phone, and I can explain how and why.
It depends on your situation too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But we've made some, I mean, we've had our busiest first quarter. I know we're wrapping up. We're, you know, into the beginning of April now. It was an incredible first quarter for Lori and I. December was great too. And historically, that was not the case. Mm-hmm. We were prepared to like, all right, everything picks up in March. We are definitely feeling that. What the unknown is that if this continues, and usually we do pick up this time of year, I don't know how the summer's gonna, like, I'm kind of,
with everything going on, I think it's gonna be really interesting, like what buyers' confidence is. Like, so far we haven't seen it. We'll see what happens. But I do think you're right with the concessions, though. It's kind of a little misleading because we're getting, you know, let's say, I don't know, this is not always, we have multiple offers too going on sometimes, like we had this weekend.
We did have 3 offers on one of our listings.
But if a home has been sitting there for over like 2-3 weeks, you can say, can we have like 12,000 concessions? So some of that is a little skewed as far as like average sales price or median sales price.
Well, and Lori negotiated a really good one. You know, we were looking at our buyers and we were like, is the value there? Because this is where they're listed. They were sitting there for a couple weeks. And Lori said, bottom line is, I think they're overpriced. And so she wound up getting an additional $15,000 off after they had already reduced the price of the house by almost $40,000.
A new roof.
And a new roof.
Yep.
But it really depends on the seller's bottom line, if you can make it work. Like, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It's not like you can just go in and ask for $40,000 off on any house.
Yeah.
No, but let us, you know, lean on us. We are the professionals in our real estate.
Oh, you want to sing? No, no one wants you to sing.
But that's why you hire us, to help you, because we will look at it from the perspective of if we think the value is there, what we think a good offer could be. You decide if it's home, and we help you make the real estate investment that will return money into your pocket.
I have a fun fact for you.
What?
Okay. I haven't told her this statistic. I told the other one. So I was curious because this is my nerdy real estate that came out when I was running these statistics for this video. So don't cheat. She's trying to cheat. I can tell.
I didn't know it was wrote down.
It's wrote down. All right. So because we do a ton of, we do real estate all over the city, Monument. We've done Woodland Park recently, everywhere. Mm-hmm. A majority of our business, I will say, is in District 20, District 38. We just know those areas so well. In addition, and a lot of our clients zone in, they have kiddos, and we're zoning in. So those are our like bread and butter. We know them really well. So this is what I think is interesting. So if the median home price.
Oh.
So I think we always talk about Colorado Springs
for
as a
what?
whole. Like a median home price in Colorado Springs as the entire, like, we're always like, what's the average sale price of Colorado Springs, right? But then I was like driving around, I'm like, God, this is so like misrepresentative of like what our average sales price is in some of our markets.
Yeah.
So if you were going to look at all District 20, District 38, just those 2 districts, which are in the north and a Monument, what is that median sales price of a home?
$675.
Close, $625. Which actually that was kind of low, but I think it's but this is what I think is interesting. If I take
that could be like paired patio homes, townhomes, all of that, but you really do need at least that to get into like those areas.
I know. Okay, but if I took all the others, because you know we average around like it depends on how you look at it. You look at the median or the average or whatever, but we're always like around 5 something ish right now. If you look at all the other like districts, so District 49, District 11,
12, 38.
Not 12. I didn't do 12 because I know 12 would skew that. What do you think it is?
475.
425.
See,
so
we're pretty, like, I would assume that. So, but if you want those school districts, if you want, you know, that age of home, that type of home, you're buying into the community, like we're over here at the Teeter Totter at John Venezia Park, like the parks up here are very different than parks in
I was
other
like,
areas
Kaylee, do we
of
have a
town.
teeter totter in town?
I was like, yes, we do.
So that's what I was just, anyways. So that is our balance market, our update. Next, we're going to talk about neighborhood home fit. So if you want to, make sure you stay tuned for some neighborhoods that we can find your
What is
perfect
that girl
fit.
wearing?
What girl?
Look at these new shorts.
Those aren't the shorts I have
No,
on today.
no. It looks like, all right.
No.
It looks like, what do you call
Strawberry
it?
shortcake.
Like, no, if you were wearing, like, if your baby had on a cloth diaper and those, like, plastic pants around it.
Well,
I guess that's
Kaylee,
the new
you are
fad.
not in style anymore.
Lori, you could pull that off.
Oh my gosh.
If I tried putting that on,
That wouldn't be happening. Anyways,
sorry.
Anyways, balance market. Make sure to reach out. We'd love to help you make the move here to Colorado Springs.